Ugly Game Sunday is still going on as we talk right now, but the 1 o'clock games have now ended, and man, the Steelers just got in a barn burner against the Bengals. We'll break down all the games from this 1 o'clock series, and we're going to talk about the 4 o'clock games going on here, but we have some very exciting college football news that has broke out. You know, Saturday was a great day. Sunday is a great day. Football season is back, baby. But before we get to all that, Pup Talk is brought to you by Route 11 Chips. We want to thank our sponsor, Route 11 Chips. Route 11 Chips, the best chips here in the Shenandoah Valley with great flavors such as barbecue, Chesapeake crab, and salt and pepper. 25 plus years of being in the business has led to some damn fine chips, so check out your local stores to grab your chip bag today. Okay, let's do this. So it's the first weekend of football. Yeah, and I don't call it NFL Sunday. I call it Heart Attack Sunday because, God damn it, every single team of ours has literally given us a heart attack. I was bending over constantly just watching the Steelers play.
Someone over here didn't have a heart attack.
Yeah, his Bears won against, like, Chicago called
Shut
for
up.
rain today, and guess what? The field looked like shit, and they won.
Yep. Well,
And
we'll
then
get
your
to them
Beagles-
later. We'll get to them later.
And then Pat joins us after a 2-year hiatus, it feels like.
How it
on the
has
show.
been 2 years.
Well, how long ago was it then?
I don't
You
know.
can't answer
Well,
that.
I had to
2
draw.
years.
He hasn't been here in so long. I had to draw him a map to get downstairs to show us where we do the show.
Draw him a map.
It was on
Yeah.
papyrus and everything. It was
Yeah,
really fancy.
it was
Did you-
really
Did you
old.
bait him in with beer because that's the only thing that he likes?
And he's had a few today because we've been tasting.
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, after watching his Eagles play, I think he needs a couple of
Yeah.
beers, almost losing that game.
It's not that bad.
Yeah. No,
not
it's all
that bad.
good.
I
It's
know
all good.
We talk highly on the
Family is home.
Lions. All right, we'll get into the NFL later, though. But yeah, yesterday, bought myself a new car,
Nah,
and
you did.
college football also happened, and I missed all of it until the very end of the day when I looked up and I saw that Alabama was
I
about to
sent
be
you the-
taken down.
So
They were about to be taken down.
So I went down to Richmond to go watch 3 of the former players
To
that
watch
we
the Ridge
coached,
School
that I
down
coached.
there.
You played with. They were playing at Richmond, and Vigna was supposed to be here today, but he was like really delayed, and I don't think he's going to show up. But anyway,
It's almost like he has a kid or something.
yeah,
I don't
he's
know.
got a little baby boy, Luke. Anyway, so Vigna and I drove all the way down to Richmond for a couple of hours, and we went to go see them play St. Francis.
But-
Good ball game, and Aaron Banks with late in the game, pick six to seal the victory, and then later they get the ball back. St. Francis gets the ball back, and he picks it again. I think he's got like 3 interceptions the last 2 games, 4 interceptions the last 2 games. But anyway,
We
so
don't give a
Viggs-
shit about
Viggs-
Richmond. We care about Alabama.
Viggs
being
and I
taken down.
we were driving around the campus. We weren't even sure where to park, and I was like, "Look, it says game parking, so let's just park here." And we pulled into a parking lot, and sure enough, there was like nobody there. It was a freaking 10-minute walk, even if it was 10 minutes to the stadium. But while we were sitting there, we were listening to the Alabama-Texas game, and I sent CJ a text that Alabama is down, but they're driving with the ball with 2 minutes left in the game, and Alabama escapes Texas.
Look, I know we can discuss on how, like, you know, this is a one-off game for Alabama. I personally do think it is. Like, you have a previous coach in Steve Sarkisian as
Yeah.
Texas head coach,
Yeah,
former
yeah.
staff member of Saban. At the same time, though, you get this every single time in college football. It happens every single year.
Yeah.
We talk about
Yeah.
Purdue every single year, it feels like, on this fucking
And
show. where
Iowa,
you have a
Iowa.
one-off
How many
game where you
times
go
does
there.
Iowa take down a top-ranked
Exactly.
opponent? you
Now,
know?
Iowa's different. They won a game 7-3 by getting 2 fucking safeties. That's a little bit different. Imagine your defense carrying you that much. To
But
actually
Texas
win.
reminds me of the Arizona Cardinals. Like, there's sometimes you watch them on TV and you're just like, man, nobody can beat those guys. They look really good. They're finally going to be something, and then out
They
of
shit the
nowhere
bed.
they crap the bed.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell? Where was that?
Right, right.
Or they
I
start the
thought you would
season.
have said your Eagles.
Hey,
Because they look
hey,
good out the
hey.
gate, and then they just shit
Hey,
the
but
bed.
here's the thing. Here's the difference between those two. Arizona starts off the season hot.
Oh, yeah.
Every year they'll start the season hot, and
They're
then
not
once
so
it
hot
starts to
right
get
now.
even remotely cold, so do they. You know, so
Yeah, but Cliff Kingsbury's got a nice mansion that he sits
Yeah, he
all
does.
alone in.
Yeah.
yeah. But if he's
Wearing those
if he's
tight
not winning,
shirts on
he's
the
gonna get
sideline,
booted.
too.
I was listening to a previous show, and I was freaking bitching about the freaking guy who has to come over and cut Kingsbury's fucking lawn.
With how much marble that man has in
Because
his
he's
yard.
got- like I think I mentioned on a previous show, he's got like the porn house where they film porn in his house because of the scenery.
And it
Anyway,
faces the backyard.
some
Anyway.
good college football yesterday.
Scott,
Excuse me.
Some bad news though.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you can take it if it's bad news,
Yeah.
but like Nebraska's head coach Scott Frost is now
Yeah.
gone. He has not been a good head coach for them.
No,
They have not
no.
been a good program these past couple years.
Yeah.
And he was let go this morning after losing to Georgia Southern.
Yeah, but
And we have
if-
a lot of Sun Belt teams. To
Right.
talk
If
about that
if
have
I'm
given
if I'm
upsets
Scott
this
Frost
past
though,
weekend.
I got fired from a program that I have tried to resurrect, that I was the king of it one time and haven't been able to do. But because they fired him, I don't know about you, but I'm going to rest okay because they paid him $15 million. His buyout after they fired him was $15 million. I think Scott Frost is going to sleep okay tonight. Okay,
Sure.
he's a competitor, and it didn't work out the way he wanted.
Yeah, but it's
at
every
the same
coach's
time,
it's every
yeah,
coach's dream
yeah.
to be a head coach. It just
Yeah,
is, man.
I-
Like
yeah.
it especially
I
in a
get it.
top 5 school.
I get it.
a top
but
Power 5 school.
you know, I wanted him to do well. I wanted to see Nebraska be a competitive, premier team, and they just haven't been for the last
No,
10
they
years.
have not.
They've really struggled.
They lost to Georgia Southern. That's bad.
Yeah,
that really is
you
bad.
lose
Like,
to a Sun Belt team like that, and it's not to say
hell,
that.
for the longest time they were a triple option team. Like
Right.
they were not a powerful,
Right,
offensive
but-
squad.
So what does that say about Sun Belt teams?
well, we have
right.
a lot of those teams that
Right.
won yesterday.
Hell yeah!
Like
and App State,
Oh,
State
man.
freaking takes down the number 6 team in freaking
sat here.
Texas
and I
A&M.
bitched about them.
Yeah.
You score 61 points, and you're the one who always fucking says this, Pat. You score 61 points and lose, you're fighting in the locker room with your DC because how the fuck does that happen?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you go out and you only give up 14 points to the number 6 team
Right.
in the country.
Oh, it's matchups. It's
Well, how does that happen? I gotta ask for your perspective. Like, how the fuck does that happen? How do you go from letting up 63 to 14?
It's called matching your team. It's called matching your opponent. And sometimes,
Yeah. And sometimes you match
play
well.
Alabama and you match really well, and maybe you don't come out
That
on
makes
top, and
no
you're just
sense
like,
then.
hey, it
You
doesn't
end up
make
like
sense.
Texas.
Yeah, it
you
just
don't, and you
doesn't.
end up.
you end up
North-
like Texas did, and
North
you were on the
Carolina,
verge. You were on the verge
Texas,
of. I know, but you're still on the verge. And we've said this before on the show 1,000 times, and Patrick and I have always said this: is when you let a team that is less than you, a team that isn't quite who you are, and you let them hang around. Well, guess what? You let them hang around, and they're going to be hanging around long enough to beat your ass, and then you're going to scratch your head wishing you'd have done something different.
I don't care though, because here's the thing. I know Jimbo Fisher doesn't give a shit about history. I know Texas A&M doesn't give a shit about history. But one of the greatest college football upsets in
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
history is them going into the Big House
Yep.
and taking down
Yeah.
Michigan.
Yeah,
And
100%.
they have been one of the best Group of 5 teams
Yeah,
in the
that
past 5
that has
years.
been able to sneak up on somebody
Yes.
and bite them in the ass.
They gave Penn State a run for their money when they came up to Penn State a couple years ago. This is a team that can compete with those Power 5 schools. And guess what? You just went into a very, very tough place in College Station.
Oh yeah, College Station,
just-
home of the 12th man. You're not going in there. That's not supposed to be any easy place to play. All I know is think about Texas A&M coming to Boone, North Carolina. Think about that. How you think they tear down a goalpost?
Oh, they already did probably. No, did you see the video of Boone, North Carolina on Main
Yeah.
Street going insane?
Yeah.
Just two ends of the street just literally just going insane.
It's just going crazy. So when you think about App State and CJ being and you having roots at JMU and CJ being a grad of JMU, you think about the freaking Goliaths of the Sun Belt who are going to collide in Boone, North Carolina in 2 weeks. That's freaking JMU and App State in 2 weeks.
That's a great matchup.
How about that?
And would you be surprised if College Game Day went down there?
No,
to
they're
go see
going
that?
down here there this week.
They're in Boone
So they
this
missed
week.
one fucking week.
And so
Damn.
and App State's playing Troy. You know.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
Troy would beat, or JMU would probably beat Troy too. I
You
mean,
know, that's a second tier Alabama school. Troy's not like some freaking cakewalk either.
They got
so.
named Troy.
But again, like how
Okay.
many college football programs, and this is a testament to Alabama and Georgia and those schools that just hang around the top. And like we think about, oh, they're always good. They get the good recruits. Well, yeah, you're right. But so does Texas A&M. So does Texas. So do all these schools.
Oh yeah, there's
and
plenty
and
of.
they don't and they match their competition and then they
Yeah.
get beat and they go what? And then you watch Alabama do the same thing and you know what? They whip their ass without a second thought. So, I think it comes down to culture and how you
Sure,
practice and stuff
sure.
like that. So.
And Saban in his post game
well,
comments was, you know what? And you could hear him say it. You've heard him say it 1,000 times. You're reading your press clippings. Whoever ranked you number one, whoever is that out of bounds?
Yes.
yeah.
Second and goal. Anyway, whoever ranks you, but you're going to read that, and that's who you think you are.
Well,
You still got to go out and you still have to play. Texas was 16-point underdogs, and they
should have been,
right.
because historically their defense has literally just
Right.
been.
The last two drives for Alabama were who Alabama was. They pushed the ball down the field. You've got your quarterback making plays. You got your defense getting stops when it's supposed to, and you kick the extra or the field goal to win it. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. When it comes down to nut cutting time, you don't get beat because your opponent's tough. You win because you have all the components that make you win. And Alabama has all those. So I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama goes on a tear from here on out because they just got a taste of being knocked off.
They'll run into Georgia, though. Because
Yeah.
guess what?
Yeah.
Georgia, they're number one now.
Oh, Georgia,
they did
don't play with
overtake
Georgia.
Bama after that game against
Yeah.
Texas.
Oh, yeah.
But I said this
Straight
to Coach
dogs.
last week, Patrick,
Straight
that,
dogs.
dude, the difference in players between that Georgia and Oregon game, I go, does that really fucking separate number 3 from 11? I mean, does that really, like, in terms of rankings wise?
Well,
like,
I
just
think they
how
get
good
the
Georgia really
right.
is?
I think you're right because when we've talked about this a gazillion times on our show, and the number one thing is when you get into those top 5 teams outside of freaking Notre Dame, because every time they rank Notre Dame up there, Notre Dame shits the bed. But when you think of those top 3 teams, I'm sorry, Ohio State wins when they're supposed to win. Alabama wins when they're supposed to win. Georgia wins when they're supposed to win. The times when they don't, or when they face each other, or there is some like a world event that's supposed to make them lose. But that makes those teams even better. And we've said this before, as a player and as a coach and stuff like that, sometimes losing helps you get better. You think you're better than you are until you get your block knocked off, and then you go back, and then you get to work, and then you find out what kind of a team you are. So,
Well, speaking of Notre Dame,
yeah,
I mean,
where the
now-
hell are they at?
poor Marcus Williams, but yeah, they're out.
Not
of the
poor
top
Marcus
25.
Williams. He knew what he was getting when he took that job. He knew what he was getting. It's Tyrone Willingham. It's everybody before him. It's all his predecessors. I don't feel.
Brian Kelly ain't having much success down at LSU.
Well, they got a big win yesterday, but that's what they were supposed to do. They're supposed to beat lesser teams and do what they're supposed to do, and have what do you call it? Leverage against everybody else. What will they be when they play those other SEC teams? I don't know, but they won when they were supposed to win.
I just look at seeing how far LSU has come from the past 3 years.
How they've
and I
fallen?
go,
How the mighty
dude,
have
I
fallen?
just look at that 2019 team and I go, that team was that 1 year.
I've been
team
there.
is just
I've been there. I've been there in
so
high school.
fucking good, man.
We win the state championship. We go 14-0. We're invincible. We want to play everybody else under the sun because we think we're unbeatable. And then the next season we come out, we play a less than spectacular team in Fauquier County High School, and they freaking knock our blocks off in the first game of the season. We're the defending freaking state champions, and we lay a fucking egg. And for the rest of the season, we go 4-6. I know exactly what those teams are feeling like, and that's freaking LSU right
that
now.
was led by Ed Ogeron. Though.
Right.
And that's absolutely crazy. That
Right. Well, I've been in those situations, and until you can find a way to overcome the adversity that's staring you, instead of the Nick Saban reading your press clippings.
What a stop by Minnesota.
Yeah.
Held them on
But
fourth
but
down.
like what does that say about either the kids that you're recruiting or the culture that you have? Because like Alabama,
I don't want to hear that. I don't.
I'm a big believer in that. Like
I am
Culture
not
is a
because
lot.
I go. Well, no. I'm saying like when coaches say I can't recruit these kids, I go, yes, you fucking can. I can tell you this much.
oh,
there
you
are
have all the
plen-
money on the world.
There are plenty of kids that want to be recruited.
Well,
it's the same way
You're
here
right.
in Virginia
You're
where I go,
100%,
man.
Patrick, or CJ.
Like
you're 100%.
JMU, everyone's
brother.
like, where are these kids from? I'm like, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina. They're all around.
and New
They
York
literally
and New
wanna be
Jersey,
there.
and you want them to come to you.
So you're surprised when
And
all
you
this
say
shit
that,
happens.
and I totally agree with that. I just think that you build the culture.
Jamar Chase come from? Where did Justin Jefferson come from? For fuck's sake, man. It's because they came around from the surrounding area.
Right, right.
Joe
And they
Burrow.
care about the school and they want the school to be good. Instead, and I don't know. College football is such a blur to me because there's certain schools that have that culture factor, like Alabama. They've never been bad. There have been very few times in their history where they've been bad.
Yeah.
And then
they
there's-
had their moments in the 80s and the early 90s where they were bad until they established a culture, and I'm a big believer in culture. I am. The worst part, and we've talked about this stuff, and your mother sitting over at the bar and stuff like that. We've talked about this kind of stuff, that coaches have become used car salesmen. They're selling these kids on their program and what it means to be. I can help you get to the next level. You need to be involved in something bigger than yourself, and you need to commit all these things. But the minute something else comes along that's better, and I bitched at the last show about fucking. About James Franklin. The minute something better comes along, that fucking coach is gone.
So Penn State, let's say this. He's the head coach at Penn State. I guarantee you if Cliff what's his name? Let's say
James
USC.
Franklin.
Let's say Lincoln Riley falls out at USC.
Mm-hmm.
He fucking takes that job at USC. James Franklin will take that job at USC. If Oklahoma, he will take that job at Oklahoma.
You think he'll take something bigger?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I wouldn't in a second. I wouldn't doubt it. And you don't even have to throw James Franklin. Look at Lincoln Riley.
Look at Brian Kelly.
USC freaking 100%. USC freaking came. We want you. What's it going to take to get you here? What's it going to take freaking Lincoln
get to
Riley
be
to
in
get
Los
you in
Angeles.
Southern California?
Yeah, I get
Think
to be
about
in fucking Los
and we
Angeles.
talked about this on the show last week. What's it going to take for you to come to freaking Southern California? The best. You think about football in California and Texas. Holy shit! Why would you not want to take that? But don't sell these kids on, oh, it's all about the program. It is in the here and now. We are going to play together until we are not together. Let's do what we can do right now and coach their ass off. I got into a huge argument with some other coaches about the difference between we can't and we won't. And when we can't, there is a great, and I suggest you go and take a look at this, Patrick. There is a great freaking interview with Mike Tomlin about can't. Why can't your players do what? Why can't a player do what you've asked them to do?
Mike Tomlin is very short-spoken on a lot
I know,
of things, but if there is one thing is that, like, the motherfucker has never had a losing season as a head coach.
And why is that? Because he demands. It's like Belichick. It's the same thing as Belichick.
Yeah.
If your players can't, then you're not doing your job. You're not doing everything you can to find out if he can or can't.
And also the
when a
way that
kid
he is-
won't, or a player won't do what you freaking coached them to do, that's when you cut your ties.
And
And
when
I
I-
think that's what makes Mike Tomlin so great when he makes a statement like that.
And the other thing also is that the players that he has had under his time in Pittsburgh, I look at the defensive guys that he has had, and then the guys on the offense that he has said, okay, there's the fucking door. He said Le'Veon Bell, there's the fucking door.
Right.
Antonio Brown, there's the fucking door. I don't really
Right.
care.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Mike Wallace, there's the fucking door. Have at it. I don't really care. James Harrison was a guy who was an undrafted player who literally was not going to be much in the NFL, who didn't get much of a shot, and guess what? He was one of the most feared outside linebackers in the NFL during his time.
Yeah.
Minka Fitzpatrick was a guy who got ran out of Miami because he did not suit well with Brian Flores.
Well, he
And now
basically
look-
said, "I can't play in your system. Your system does not
And guess
play my
what?
tools."
He jumps right into Mike Tomlin 3 years ago. He's one of the
And
top
look-
3 safeties in the NFL.
Right.
He just is. You look at another guy, let's say like Cam Hayward, who has been a grizzled veteran for
What a
12
fucking
years
man.
now,
Man.
and continues
Man.
to say like what Mike Tomlin does every single day: work your fucking ass off. And look at Cam Hayward. He's been in the league 12 years. You don't make it 12 years as a defensive lineman in the NFL. You don't fucking do that.
Yep. Yep.
At the caliber that he plays, you don't do that.
Well,
But
how
anyway,
many? Yeah, I was about to say. Well, how many times, especially Mike Tomlin's a good one. So is Bill Belichick. I mean, like you look at the teams that some
Devin
of those guys have
McCourty.
had. Now, don't get me wrong. Have you had some talent come through? Hell yeah. Like Bill Belichick had Tom Brady for 20 years. You have Mike Tomlin had Ben Roethlisberger for what?
18.
18.
No,
no,
well,
no,
Mike
no, no,
Tomlin.
no.
Well,
He had him for about
15. He had
15 years,
15
right?
15, but
Yes.
15.
But how
No,
many?
it's
Like,
like
but
16 or 17
but like-
because Ben missed a couple seasons because of
But he
injury
still
and
had
shit
him for
like that.
15
But
years.
but you
solid
look at
15.
but
Yeah,
you
you're
look
right.
at the record and you look at how successful they were. Like when you took back, like when you step back and you looked at the season, did they overachieve or underachieve?
Right.
And more times than not, you look at those teams and you're like, you know what? Based on the roster,
They
how they played,
overachieved.
they freaking overachieved with the
Overachieved.
talent that they have.
Because they took the players that they had and they found a way to utilize the skills that they have. And that's the mark of a great coach. That's what separates really, really good teams from
All right.
those also rans.
But let's actually get into the holy grail that is Sunday NFL football here.
Oh
Week
my.
1, baby.
7 hours of commercial-free football starts right now.
Siciliano, we talked about him last week.
But any-
I busted on his big ears, but goddamn, does he have a great
He's
voice
good.
for
Every
football.
He's
single
so
one
good.
of our
He is
teams
so good.
played at the 1 o'clock game.
Yeah.
We'll start from the shittiest game.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Bears
Give
and
it to me.
49ers
Bears
were
49ers,
first.
baby.
You can't deny it though, Coach. Like the weather was shitty.
Yeah.
The
Chicago
score was
weather.
shitty.
Chicago
Literally
weather.
everything about the game just could have not. Offensively for the Bears in the first half, there was absolutely nothing. You
The
guys
Bears
did,
were losing 10-0 into the third quarter.
Yeah.
We were essentially shut out through 2.5 quarters until you get a couple of things going. I mean, Justin Fields throws 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he has a pick, but I didn't see that was a deciding factor in the
didn't
game.
drag it. Damn it.
Well, I mean, I'm torn about it because like the Bears didn't look great
Spectacular.
either. No, their
But-
defense came to play, and the 49ers were shown how limited they are. Like, because again,
Well, Trey
so
Lance
like,
is the newest addition. You could have had Jimmy G, but Jimmy G's been coming off of injury, and they already made the switch, and Trey Lance is the guy.
Well-
he was made the guy.
well, here's my problem: is that in the weather, if you look at what the 49ers do well and what the Bears do well, here's 2 things that I know. The Bears' offense is very limited in what they can do. Their offensive line isn't great.
It is terrible.
But the
absolute
49ers
garbage.
should win the line of scrimmage and the running battle. Well, Trey Lance is your leading rusher. What the fuck happened? In the worst weather, in what you do well versus what the Bears do well, you should win that fight, and you
Here's
lost.
the thing, though, is that we have talked about this multiple times. If you could shut down that one man from the 49ers in Debo, you have a shot. And if you have a game plan for Debo Samuel, you have a shot. And if there is a guy who is a new coach as a defensive coordinator and Matt Eberflus who can come in and say, guys,
Hey, Debo only had
Here's-
2 catches
here's
on the
literally
night.
what we
2
gotta do.
receiving yards, and they used him as a running. And what do you have? 8 or 9 carries. So as a receiver, he only catches 2 balls.
But either way, you have a game plan for your best player.
Yeah.
It makes it harder on your offense with a rookie, with the first time NFL quarterback.
Yeah, all I know is that the Bears was it, and we just mentioned it earlier on the show. Do you let a lesser team hang around until they beat your ass?
You good, coach?
Come on, coach.
It's the Bears. Justin Fields chucking it up.
are you doing?
Oh, wide open. Sorry.
Well,
Is it a lesser team hanging around until you lose, or did the Bears just find a groove and make a few things happen, keep the game close because they played solid defense against a rookie quarterback, and make the plays that they needed to make down the stretch?
well,
That's the only thing I'm saying is I think the Bears made a couple of freaking plays down the stretch that they scored 12 points in the fourth quarter.
Well-
And that's a difference in the game right there.
well,
What is this garbage?
Well, I think this is that the Bears and Eberflus went, okay, this kid's raw. He's fresh out the barrel. Hey, it's pouring rain. It's doing it. Okay, 5, you beat us. Hey, we're going to shut down your run game. See, with Jimmy G,
Man has never
Hey.
played in bad weather. He's played in a dome in his whole fucking college career.
Jimmy G,
in North Dakota State.
Jimmy
He
G,
never
you
played
might-
outside.
well, Jimmy G, you might roll the dice. Hey, 10 might beat us. You know what? 5 hasn't proven he can do that. Hey, it's going to be pouring down rain. They're good at running the ball. Shut it down. Shut it
gotta-
down. Hey, and we're going to throw everything that we can at them to stop the run. And guess what? They freaking did.
Hey, you know the Bears
five
only
didn't
rushed
beat
for
'em.
Bears only rushed for 100 yards. They had 100 yards rushing, and part of that was Justin Fields making things happen with his feet, and that's what makes him a difference maker in my book. Now, you just took
He's
down.
frustrating sometimes to
Now,
play against.
you just took down the 49ers and George Kittle standing on the sideline with an injury. If Kittle's on the field, does he make plays? Hell yeah. Hell
yeah.
yeah. Is he a deciding factor in the game? Maybe, but he wasn't there, and the Bears did what they were supposed to do. So,
Well, and then the highlights are just up there on the field. And, and when you look at the situations that I just watched right there, when big plays needed to happen, Justin Fields made them happen. Because
Yep.
the stat line
Yep.
is not that impressive. The stat line's not. He was 8 of 17, 121 yard, 2 touchdowns and a pick.
And a pick.
Okay, so it wasn't pretty, but I'll tell you what. In ball games like this, when it's freaking pouring down rain and
Right,
things need to
right.
happen, he made plays and
you
Trey
get-
Lance didn't.
But when you look at his QBR, he's at 85, and it tells you that he did what he needed to do. Look at
Slip and slide on
and
the field.
all I know is that just builds
You
confidence.
know
in
that
the team.
equipment guy just went, why? Why did you just slide on
Here's
the middle
the
of
biggest
field?
thing is that a Matt Eberflus team, and Matt Eberflus was the freaking architect of the the Colts, and the Colts had a very, very, very good defense for the last several years. And when you have a head coach who is defensive minded and turns over his offense to somebody to find a way to help Justin Fields, and you make their defense is going to be very good. All right, let's go on, CJ. So Bears,
I have to.
I'm
I have
happy
to
with the Bears.
talk about some other games.
Yeah, yeah, hell
in-
yeah.
In terms of a disappointing first game after when they were up, dude, the Falcons shit the bed.
Yeah, they did.
They were up 26-10, and then all of a sudden they lost 27-26.
Yep.
They looked so damn good with Mariota. They really did. They were punching it down the field on them. And Jameis Winston looked injured at one point. He looked like he was in rough shape.
Yeah, he
and
took
then
a
all of
bad
a sudden
shot.
it was a collapse. It was just a complete collapse from Atlanta, which is what I expect. All
But, you know,
the time.
Jameis throws 2 touchdowns, and Marcus Mariota doesn't have a single touchdown. I mean, he's there, and he can't just be there. You have to be able to throw touchdowns in the NFL. If you're a quarterback in the NFL, you have to be able to throw touchdowns, and Marcus Mariota came up zilcho and in that department. If Atlanta is going to turn around where they're at, and I've said this on the show before, I think Marcus Mariota, his wheels and the things he can do with his feet are tremendous. He can make every throw. You have to be able to put the ball in the end zone. You just have to. You know, Taysom Hill scores a touchdown. I think that you have to, as a starting quarterback in the NFL, make shit happen. At one point, you're winning 23-10. You're winning 23-10.
No, it was 26-10, Coach.
Well, at one time, and then freaking New Orleans scores 17 unanswered.
That's a complete collapse.
Yeah,
And that could have been a driving force late in the year. I mean, that's a division game. I mean,
They look.
the Saints are already the Saints are already like all over the damn place. Like,
They don't have a head coach anymore.
New head
Sean
coach.
Payton, their longtime head coach.
Well, like,
they
are they good enough to make the playoffs? Hey,
in a division with Tampa.
You don't know. Yeah.
Oh, there goes Tractor.
I mean,
Cito.
that could have been,
God.
but that could have been.
How good is he? God damn, is he good?
Well, he hasn't done really much this game yet.
It doesn't matter. Just get him loose. You got a 13-point lead, and all you have to do is establish the
Finally
run
got it out
game.
of Revo speed. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna notice the new helmets on the guy.
Look at that! Look at that counter step, and he rifles back. And look at that! Oh, holy shit! Did the NFL just block down and kick out at the point of attack? They blocked down and kicked out at the point of attack with freaking Derrick Henry. Are you shitting me?
Next game though, Cleveland and Carolina. Like, look, this is your opening game for Baker Mayfield. He can get his revenge, man. He can get his fucking revenge against his former team, and guess what? They lost.
They
Last
lost.
second.
They lost.
They lost at the last second. And not only that, they didn't play well until the very end of the game when they had to come back and actually try and beat Cleveland, who had fucking Jacoby Brissett. They didn't have anybody.
Well, who's Carolina got coming up? Because, hey,
You think
they got the
Matt Rule
Giants?
gets fired here in a couple of games if he doesn't produce, though, Coach? You think he gets fired?
I've said that, and I've said this. I don't know. I don't. If I've said it one time, I've said it 10 times. I love Matt Rule. I think that he's a great coach. But I've said this, and I
What
think
have you done
he's-
for me lately?
Right, and how many times have I said that the NFL is a "What have you
I
done
don't
for
know,
me
a lot,
lately"?
probably.
It is. It's a "What have you done for me lately" league, and I think that if they can't scratch out something with the talent that they have, it's terrible. But there is my. All right,
Your laptop is
Yeah, it's possessed.
a piece of shit right
Okay,
It's not a
so
piece of
I'm looking
shit,
at the
it's-
Panthers schedule. So the Giants are playing the Titans right now. Aren't
Getting
looking
roached
too great,
13-0.
right? And defensively match up, they should win that fight. If you lose to the Giants, okay, the red flags start going up. Okay, the Saints, and it's a division game. It's a tough one. I think if you lose to the Cardinals, it ain't getting much better because you play the Niners, Rams, Bucks, a division Falcons, and the Bengals. Oh, and then another division Falcons, Ravens. Like, it's only going to get harder from here. So, like, if you start 0-3 or 1-2, it's going to be a long year, fellas.
Yeah.
And it's not looking good.
I
And
think
so,
Matt
like,
Rule's going to get. He's going to get the big axe. He's going to end up.
they needed this, and they
All right.
didn't get it.
Yeah.
A couple
Yeah,
more interesting tidbits.
The Texans and Colts tied.
They tied the first week of the season.
Like, what the hell?
I
what the
just
hell?
wanted to throw that out there. No one wants to talk about that fucking
Well,
game.
it was 20-3. So, like,
Texans were up 20-3. Yeah.
so again, it's a fight and a losing battle. Okay, so do the Colts? Do you give the Colts a break because they at least started to find a rhythm
No,
and
you
come
have
back?
Matt Ryan. No, I don't think so.
Or do you go, hey, the Texans aren't half bad, but they're like I don't know what to think about
the
it.
Texans, I think, are the worst franchise in the NFL.
Davis
right now.
Mills freaking throws for 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did his job.
So your defense let up.
Where else is it? How do you put it on the most important player on your team as the quarterback, and he did his job?
And then,
So where does that fall then?
I don't think that the Texans are a good franchise. I don't think that they're a good
I think
team.
you're right.
I think that they are worse than the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey,
I will take Jacksonville.
Maybe Lovie Smith has them playing better than they should. What is your mother wanting? What is this?
Why am I watching that? They didn't do it. Okay.
Okay, she just interrupted the show. Show her.
I'm
son
okay
of a
with the
bitch.
video, the music, not so much, but I'll take it. Just a quick tidbit. I'm glad that the Ravens beat the Jets because Joe Flacco started. Fuck him. All right, on to the Eagles beating the Lions. Zach Wilson was out. Probably hurt his back from his mom's friend. So. On to the Eagles versus Lions.
Eagles Lions.
You guys were up 38-21, Pat. You were up 38-21, and Dan Campbell just probably grouped all of his guys together and says, "I love you guys, man. I love you," and that just made them go back out there and almost
Grit.
beat you.
Well,
Grit.
That's all they had to do.
I have
Grit, grit.
well, I have two thoughts, at least from an Eagles fan. Number one, okay, did we get out of a trap game with all the hype coming out of the preseason, and we go into Detroit after a Hard Knocks where it was a really good season, and like you can see what they're talking about in their culture, and they're building something special. And you know what? Did we get out of a trap game that we could have easily lost because they have so much energy going into that game?
Could be.
Yes. However, we punch them in the mouth for 3 quarters,
Yep.
and then our defense starts to go, oh,
But it's
shit,
how you
here they
finish.
come.
But it's how
Right.
you
Well,
finish, though.
Jalen Hurts doesn't account for a single point that you scored. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he rushes for a touchdown.
But he
rushes
doesn't throw for
multiple-
one.
He doesn't throw for
He
one.
rushes for multiple touchdowns.
No, Jalen Hurts scored 1 touchdown.
He ran for one.
He ran for 1. He had 90 yards rushing.
But again, that's not what his job is.
Right.
So, like,
because when you look at the stat line, Jalen Hurts rushes for 17 times. He is never going to make it through an NFL season rushing 17 times and not throwing for a touchdown.
well, after one game, A.J. Brown was worth the pick.
Yeah?
Dallas
Oh,
Goddard,
yeah.
Dallas Goddard did what he was supposed to do. He catches the ball 3 to 5
Possession.
times a game,
Possession
and
receiver.
he averages 20 yards a catch. Now the other ones, Pascal, he had a great preseason. They shut him down. Where was Devontae Smith?
You know,
Did they throw all their eggs in one basket because they were just like, hey, we've seen Devontae Smith. We know how to shut him down. We don't know how to do A.J. Brown? Hey, maybe. But now, after seeing A.J. Brown, I'm not giving up, Devontae Smith. Yeah, they shut him down because you have film on what he does.
Right.
Well, now you got to shut both those cats down.
Is it
You gotta shut
because
both
that
them down.
Devontae Smith is doing his job that Dallas Goddard makes the catches and A.J. Brown gets 10 because Devontae Smith? You
yeah.
have to devote coverage to Devontae Smith, and that makes A.J. Brown that more viable.
Yes, I think
Joe
so.
Flacco threw the ball 59 times, I just realized.
And you scored
59
9
fucking
points,
times.
so that shows how much it
Oh,
did
I
for
You
you.
know the story about Lamar that came out this morning? That he apparently turned down a $250 million contract from
Was
the
it fully
Ravens.
guaranteed?
But I'm saying it's $250 million.
I get that, but he's the leading passer and rusher. Was it fully guaranteed?
I don't give a shit.
He wants
I-
fully guaranteed.
I think,
yeah, and guess
and
what?
if,
He can.
he wants fully
uh,
guaranteed money.
if I'm Lamar
I'll
Jackson,
play him,
if
we'll
I'm
play him twice a year.
I
and
know
still
that,
beat
but
him
if
up
I'm
and
Lamar
down the
Jackson,
field.
if I'm Lamar
Fine.
Jackson, if I'm that player, why would I not want
Fine,
that?
then you'll never win a championship.
Why? Would,
I don't
I'm
care
just
what
telling
say.
you that.
Fine,
Why would I
don't
want?
care.
Why would I not want that?
Fine. You'll
Right.
always be an organization
Yeah.
then who wanted to shove out the money for somebody.
Right.
When the Steelers.
But
are
it's not
always that
overwhelming. It's
organization
not
that has never done
overwhelming.
that.
They're the freaking the Ravens. The Ravens have talent. The Ravens can make shit happen, and so why should you pay the one guy that's
Yeah, they
critical
beat
to
the
your
Jets.
team?
I'm glad. That
I know,
fucking
and they
beat the
didn't just
Jets.
beat the Jets; they dominated the Jets.
Yeah,
So
a lot of people dominate the Jets, Coach.
Okay, well,
They haven't been good.
Well, we've said this, and we just said it today, that if you don't have the one guy who can dominate the most important position at quarterback, and you can't lock him in, if Lamar Jackson leaves your franchise because you won't pay him, what do you got then? What do you got then?
I'm just saying, though, Coach,
Right, we're gonna
that
go back
he
to
is
Chris Redmond?
He is an inconsistent quarterback at times. He just is.
well, here's the
he
thing.
has
Here's,
those games where he just completely flounders, especially against Pittsburgh,
Okay.
where he can't do shit.
Well,
Okay,
well,
because they
here's-
freaking game plan for him, but at the same time, he's as dynamic as they come for freaking throwing, passing yardage and rushing yardage. Was he throw for 3,000 yards every season and rushes for 1,000 yards? Who are you going to replace a 4,000 yards out of your offense with? Who the fuck are you going to do that with?
That's my thing. Is that again? Like he's looking at it, and again, he's representing himself. So he's looking at the Baltimore Ravens and going like, "Hey, look, again, I throw for 3 bills, I run for another one. I have 4,000 yards of your offense, and if you want me to do that, you're going to pay me, and you're going to guarantee every dime of it because you know what." He's probably looking at how his body's feeling after.
The
Again,
only
you rush for
thing-
1,000 yards, your body ain't feeling great.
The only thing,
Yeah.
the only thing that
I
will
want
give as the
every dime
caveat
guaranteed.
is that I guarantee you it is hard for the Ravens to do it. after the Deshaun Watson situation where you literally gave this man all that money and he's not going to play for 11 games this season and collect, no matter what, a lot of fucking money this year.
Yeah.
But the
It's
Brown-
hard. It's hard. I understand that you want to give a dynamic player that, but the situations that have occurred with Watson, it does change a lot of things, especially for contract situations. It just does.
You know,
it just does.
Lamar Jackson's played in the NFL for freaking 4 seasons now. What is he in the middle of? He's starting his 5th
This would be
season.
his fifth year
playing
off.
on his
season,
fifth year
and
off.
he's thrown 84 touchdowns in his season. Yeah, okay, so freaking rack up the number of freaking picks and stuff, but he's also rushed. Where's his rushing?
I get that.
He's rushed for 3,600 yards, almost 4,000 rushing yards. So I don't think you can look at him and say, well, you're not worth the money. Well, when you have almost 4,000 rushing yards and almost 10,000 passing yards, I don't know how you can look at him and go,
then he better win the division then. If
Right.
he wants another
Yeah,
shot at it,
I
you
agree.
got to win the division.
I agree. But how many times in this league have we paid players who haven't done shit? Because you
I
got
just
to
talked
keep them.
about one. I literally just mentioned Joe Flacco. I literally just mentioned the man
I
who
know.
won a Super Bowl
Yeah.
who didn't do
Okay,
shit after that.
Okay, but the fact is, you just said the most important thing. He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Lamar hasn't.
Right.
He lost to Derrick Henry in a playoff game. Not the Tennessee Titans. He lost to Derrick Henry in a playoff game. And then the next year, he went to Kansas City and lost to he lost to Josh Allen in the Buffalo Bills last year. And that's been the story.
Wow.
Is that
Minnesota putting it on the
if you want
Packers.
to
Good.
be considered a top quarterback, you better win in the playoffs.
I'm just looking over at the TV. Fucking Minnesota just went up 16-0. Could this be one of those shit the bed moments?
Because Pat Mahomes came out same draft as Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
same draft. Man,
Mitchell Trubisky came out in the same draft.
Pat Mahomes to Lamar Jackson, fuck Lamar. When I look at what Pat Mahomes has done for that franchise, they've made it to the AFC Championship game 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
4 years in
I
a
know.
fucking row. He's been to 2 Super Bowls in a row.
All I'm saying is that if without Lamar, where is Baltimore? If your franchise, where
Well,
are
I
you at
understand
without
that.
him?
But man, that's a lot
So
of
you
money.
got
That's a lot of money.
I know it is. But
You're in a lot. You understand that you're in a lot of fucking dead cap space now, thanks to Khalil Mack.
yeah, you're right. And the Bears are going to struggle down the stretch because they have so much dead cap space. But if they're $100 million, by next year they'll be $100 million in dead cap space. Well, I'm just guessing at $100 million, but I'm just saying they're going to have a shit ton of dead cap space, and freaking Eberflus and their freaking management's going to have to find a way to solve those issues. But if I'm Baltimore, you have a bona fide entity in Lamar Jackson, so you better pay him. Because if he goes somewhere else and you have to freaking grow talent there in Baltimore, well, I don't think you're going to get much better in Baltimore than what you have right now. How are you going to improve on what you have right now? So I think for the sake of what NFL contracts are, you have to pay Lamar Jackson. You have to. You got to
Fine.
find a way. But the best part in all of this is Lamar Jackson is being the consummate professional about it. He's like, we're going to figure this
yeah.
out.
He's
And if
still
you
willing
can't
to
pay,
play?
right? He's like, if week 1 comes along, I'm going to stop talking about the contract and I'm going to play because I'm going to earn that money.
It's like Roquan.
I'm going to right.
It's like
I'm going to
Roquan
find
Smith.
a way for you to pay me. It's what we do as coaches. We bitch at kids and kids complain, why can't I play, coach? Why can't I play? And it's just like, you find a way and you bust your ass in practice and you find a way to make me not play you. Well, Lamar Jackson's in one of those situations where you better find a way not to play him. He's too important.
Well, let's
So-
go to the last game we'll talk about, another division game.
Uh-oh.
The Steelers and Bengals, man.
Steelers and Bengals.
Like, look, Coach and I sat here last week, and I looked him dead in the eye, and I said, the Bengals should fucking win this game. You just went to the Super Bowl. You're returning your entire offense, basically. You are,
Yep.
without a doubt, you just won the division. Joe Burrow, I believe in him. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
do.
He is good. He's a gamer. He makes shit happen.
And I thought that they would be the ones to come out and just destroy because they have 3 good fucking wide receivers.
Yes, they
in
do.
Higgins, Boyd, and Chase. But that Steelers defense literally made Joe Burrow's day a living hell today. They just literally made his day a living hell. They sacked him 7 times. They made him throw 4 interceptions. They also made him fumble once. But they fucking had to take it all the way to the last second of overtime. Like it literally came down to a
Yep.
last-second field goal in the entirety of the game.
They
And
just picked Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Nice.
And I just-
it couldn't happen to a better douche.
oh no, it's like the Pittsburgh way. It just is. I just look at that offense and I just go, "What the fuck is this, man?
No,
Like what is
it's
this?"
not. It's not. And we argued. We just said this during the game, and I tried to impress. And Patrick knows this firsthand. The learning curve for defense is so much faster than it is on offense, and it takes time.
Minus
it takes
5 turnover differential.
it takes time for your offense to find a way to gel.
Minus
it just
5.
does.
I can't excuse that though for minus 5 turnover differential.
For the last-
time that has ever happened was
I know that.
10 years ago.
I know
Coach.
that, but for the last 18 years, you've had one guy finding a way to make things happen in your offense. And now, for the first time, you have an unknown guy. And we talked about him on the show. We talked about Trubisky. We talked about him in what he had with a great preseason. We know that he did things. He did things that made you happy. He put a smile on your face. There were things that Trubisky did that he didn't hurt your team. And there were, how many times did I dump on that freaking cat when he was with the Bears? And then, until we learn later on that it wasn't freaking Trubisky, it was freaking Matt Nagy that was the problematic issue
get
with
it,
it.
Coach.
So just give them time. Give them time.
But-
give them time. And I think
But if there was
Pittsburgh is going
ever
to find a
game-
way.
If there was ever a game where they lucked out, if there was ever a game where the Steelers lucked out that a long snapper went out of the game, this was the fucking game.
Yeah.
Because people, if you watch the game back, you go, how the fuck is McPherson just struggling here at the end? I go, well, the long snapper tore his
He's out of rhythm.
their long snapper tore his fucking I think he tore his bicep during the game. So guess what? You have to bring up a backup long snapper. I don't know if you know this about the NFL.
There is only one long snapper on the roster. You do
Most
not
of
have
the time.
two.
Right,
You
right,
do not
right.
have two. And if you do,
Why the fuck do you have 2 long snappers?
Hey, and you're also at the point in your professional career where like long snapping is what you do. I don't know about
exactly.
you, but like
so
long
when you
snappers
have
have
to
a
bring
science.
in somebody else, when you have to bring in somebody else to go between that, the punter, and the kicker, it messes everything up.
But also,
it just does.
but you have the snapper, holder, and kicker. You have 3 components, and I'll tell you what, the holder is looking for a consistent
Right.
spiral. They're looking for a consistent spot, a consistent snap, and so is the kicker. And so, like, when it's a little bit slower, guess what? The kicker's out of rhythm. When it doesn't have the same spin, it doesn't have the same rhythm, and then you get all out of sorts. Like the one kick that the Bengals missed to win the freaking game. Guess what? It didn't have the same spiral. The holder puts it down, and guess what
It
happened?
was slow. It
It's
was
not slow. He kicked the laces.
Yeah, well, it was just,
And he completely shanked it. And so, like, he's, like, out of rhythm. He sees laces, and he's like, oh, I got to kick it. Well, guess what? Hey, I got to kick the ball. And it's out of rhythm, and you freaking shank it. And, again, he was Iceman in the playoffs last year. He couldn't miss every single kick that he needed to make. He freaking made it. And I'll tell you what, because he saw laces, all out of whack.
Now, the only other thing I'll say to like give Trubisky some positives is that like Cincinnati's defense has been good. They
Yeah.
were good in the playoffs
Yep.
last year. You are returning a lot of that
Right.
defense.
Right, right,
On
right.
all levels, you have Trey Hendrickson. You got
I agree.
Jermaine Pratt, Luke Wilson. At the top level, you still have Jesse Bates in that crew. Like
Yeah.
that defense from top to bottom last year.
solid.
The
And
bullshit-
Trubisky did
the-
hurt
yeah.
you today.
But what I'm saying though is that man, Minka Fitzpatrick is unreal. and that defense.
How many
literally
times have we talked about your defense giving your offense one more chance?
Minka Fitzpatrick saved the game. He just did that blocked extra point
Yep,
at the end
yep,
of the game.
yep.
Just saved the game.
It was like it was a flashback to last night because when I was at the Richmond game with St. Francis had the momentum, and they got the ball back, and it was 24-21, and they're going to drive the ball. They just kicked the ball back to Richmond. Just kicked the ball back to freaking St. Francis. And what are you looking for? You're looking for a splash play from your defense, either a sack, a turnover on down, something to get you to freaking give the ball back to give your offense a chance. And what did they do? They throw a huge pick to a freaking fifth-year senior in Aaron Banks, and he fucking took it to the house. That's Minka Fitzpatrick. He is going to find a way to make and sorry, Fitzpatrick. He had a penalty that put them
In the
down.
game.
And then what did he do? He defended a pass that should have been caught for a touchdown and should have ended the game. And he defended the pass and freaking broke it up. And because of that, I'm going to give you one more chance. And I think that's huge. And so having a Trubisky out there, Trubisky didn't hurt you. He managed the game. Let him get better. Let him feel his starting role. Let him get the offense going, and give them a chance. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I just think though.
One of the games that we didn't talk about, CJ, and we need to go back to this when you finish your comment, is to go back to the fucking Bills and the Rams. That was
Yeah,
Thursday
sorry.
night. We need to talk about them, and then we'll get into these 4:00 games,
Yeah.
and then we'll freaking start
But
tasting
anyway,
some
the
beers.
Steelers. It was a shit fest. I mean, it was just a defensive slugfest completely. But you got out of there with a win.
You got
Yeah,
out with a
got the-
W,
got the
and that's
dub.
all that matters. Hey, freaking learn from your mistakes, and I mean going forward. And again, this is the beauty of Mike Tomlin, right?
Find a way to win.
Find a way to win. Who gives a shit? Hey, we're gonna learn from our mistakes. It's week 1, and not only did you win, you beat a division champion on the road. Week 1, take the W and run.
Take the W and get out of there,
and
and let's
run.
find another way. Let's find a way to get better this week. Because here's the thing, and this is the great thing about Mike Tomlin, and I don't know if I mentioned it on the show already, but one of the things about Mike Tomlin is there's a difference between you can't and you won't.
Yeah, you've already talked about this.
I think those are huge, and when you can't do things, you got to coach your players better. You got to find a way to help those guys get better. If they won't,
Green Bay
then
shut out at the half.
yes.
17-0.
How good is that?
Good.
Let's go Vikes.
Go Vikes.
All
we
right.
can go
All
on
right.
to
So let's get on to
Rams.
that Thursday night game. Holy shit.
I said-
Josh Allen, I got it. Just in. Josh Allen, man.
I thought you were gonna be a lot more. I thought you were gonna say like bad motherfucker.
Well, no, he's
No,
just
look,
man,
It's just,
man,
dude.
man. Hey, you know what he is? Do you know how strong his legs are? Dude, I don't know what he squats, but he just put the whole team on his back and said, I'm fucking these guys up.
Because
Let's
he's
go.
pissed. He's fucking mad after that
Right,
Chiefs
right.
game.
I think
He
you're right,
literally
CJ.
punched
I have
his
something to
defensive
prove.
coordinator in the face and said, "I'm good now.
Dude,
I'll
I have
see you
some,
next year."
I have something
Just
to
literally
prove.
punched him in the face and said, "I'm good."
And there
Got
was something
everything
I
out of my
remember.
system.
And I remember watching the game and just seeing his face. And again, I don't like to compare anybody like with Tom Brady, but there's a face that Tom Brady makes that should scare the absolute crap out of you. And Josh Allen made that, like he's kind of just nodding. He's like, "Oh, I'm good. You can't phase me. There's nothing that you can do that will phase me
but it-
or do anything. I'm gonna rock your world, and there ain't a
Right.
damn thing you're gonna do about
But
it."
You know
but
what
you
that's
look at
called?
that game and you go, "I don't give a fuck if you're the Super Bowl champs. Raise
Bee
your
House
fucking
effect?
banner.
Yeah, it's called the
Raise
Hogan
your fucking
effect.
banner. I don't give a shit. Guess what? That
Right,
happened.
right.
That happened 6 months ago. No one gives a fuck
No
anymore.
one gives
No
a
one gives
shit.
a fuck.
We're playing right
you think
here,
I
right
still
now.
You think I'm an Eagles fan and still live through that 17 Super Bowl? Fuck no. No one gives a fuck anymore.
Hey, again, like Coach said, the Hogan effect. I'm the
The Hogan.
baddest MFer
Motherfucker.
on the field.
I'm the baddest
and
motherfucker.
I'm gonna make a play.
Hey, you got me on that one. I'm gonna come back and make a play. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm gonna make a play.
But I look at how the Bills, you could say what the score was at the half, they fucking dominated them. They really did. There was one interception, the first interception that Allen threw.
That
Wasn't
not
even his fault.
Wasn't even his fault. And then you
Neither
take
of them
that,
were.
maybe that second one, maybe. But other than that, Allen dominated.
Spotless.
He played a spotless game. He only incompleted 5 passes. You just did that against a Rams team that was just, they won the fucking Super Bowl. And they had Aaron Donald, they have Jalen Ramsey, they have Bobby Wagner, they have everybody.
Oh, and the
on
one
that
touchdown
defense.
was over not Bobby Wagner, but over freaking
Ramsey.
Jalen
Ramsey's
Ramsey.
head.
All right, now go ahead,
Dude,
Coach.
I couldn't have been more happy when Josh Allen threw the ball over Jalen Ramsey's head and scored a touchdown. I was just like, oh my goodness. Shut your face, just play the game.
All right, now I have one question, okay, and it's, I know you're not going to want to pick one, but are the Rams in trouble because if Cooper Kupp gets shut down, what do the Rams do, or do the Bills look that fucking good?
The Bills look that fucking good.
Bills are that good.
I'm telling you, that offense is mad. They are pissed.
I know
they
that.
Were supposed to. I don't give a shit if Cincinnati was in the Super Bowl. They were supposed to be in the fucking Super Bowl. They were. Their
The Rams
defense
were.
literally. No. The Bills were supposed to be in the Super Bowl.
The Rams
They
were an exceptionally good football team. The Rams were an exceptionally good football team, and for whatever reason, the Bills didn't get it done. So it's the chip on your shoulder, and you freaking have to prove that you're there. How many times have I told you that sometimes the best team never was? You're the better team, and you can't prove it. There is nothing more frustrating than that. When we, in 2004, 2005, we played the 3-time region champions, and for our kids, it was, we belong here. We can do this. We just have to go out here and execute. And we run a play on our last offensive play. We run a play and hit the receiver who is wide open, and he is going to score, and he dropped the ball. And our kids carried that moment into the next season and said, that shit is never going to happen again. We are going to prove to everyone that we were the better team, and that's how shit was. And then you go 14-0, and I get a big fat ring upstairs, and it was an electrifying moment. And I think and I'm not saying that the Bills are going to go on and win any Super Bowl or anything like that, but they carry that chip on their shoulders. When you're the best team and you can't prove it, and you bring everybody back plus ammunition, holy shit, you look out. Here comes Buffalo.
Because the Bills have been building, and Sean McDermott has been, and a credit to him,
How good a coach is he?
is that you have continued to build a culture of getting better and better and better. And you're right, Coach.
Play the next play.
Hey, last year, and CJ, you're right. They should have beat they should have beat the Chiefs. And you know what? In the last 2 minutes, they fell apart, and that will define their entire season forever.
Did that rest on Josh Allen's shoulder that they
No.
did? No,
No.
it
Leslie
did
Frazier,
not.
The last
I
two
look at him
games-
and I go, "You were scared of Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
You were scared.
The
And
last-
don't fucking
yeah.
lie.
When
that
you play
weren't.
not to lose, that's what
You were
happens.
fucking scared.
And the last 2 games, and maybe even the last 3 games that Josh Allen has played, he is terrifying.
He has the best postseason
He is
quarterback.
terrifying.
In the 2 games that he played, he has the best postseason QBR in NFL history. In those 2 postseason games that he played last year, he had 141.
There was a text. I read your mother a text about when Josh Allen was in high school. He didn't receive a single Division I offer, and then he went to a freaking JUCO, and then he freaking sent out 1,000 freaking emails to coaches, and the only ones to freaking offer him was Wyoming.
Anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
Go get the Bears, though.
That's huge in my book. Okay, so currently CJ is leading right now from our picks from last Sunday. CJ chose the Bills. I picked the Rams because I thought the Rams defending champs. They got a pretty good solid squad. I do have to say this. As a part of Buffalo's defense, how good is the acquisition of losing a key component of the Rams defense in the Super Bowl?
Von Miller.
Von Miller.
You give yourself a pass rush finally.
how many times-
Just with him alone.
How many times did he
The
get a
things
piece?
that he can tell that D line and say, like, guys, I have done this my whole career. Learn. And you guys will be a force.
Right.
You will.
How
Because he
important
taught
was
that
that?
to Denver.
Right.
He taught that to Denver, and he taught it to L.A.
And not even learn. Watch.
Right. Just
Watch me freaking do this.
let's do
And-
this. Get on my back. Get on my back, and,
And let's
we're
roll.
gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Let's just do this defensively.
He did it
So
with Denver.
CJ
He did it with LA.
CJ picked the Bills. I thought the Rams would be high flying. I thought they would be freaking defending Super Bowl champs and play like that. What a special night in SoFi Stadium. You know, you
Who
got
gives a fuck about L.A.?
I,
Don't
you know,
go there.
I'm just saying, the Rams are still a very, very good team.
They're going to be
very
a good football team.
And when Odell comes back, holy shit!
Well,
That's the missing piece. And
Yeah.
you saw it in the Super Bowl, and the
And
Rams had to freaking build
Odell's
something
going to be
together.
a while. He's going to be a while after that torn ACL. He's going to be a little bit, but once he comes back,
Well, he's not
Well-
on the Rams team, though.
he's.
He's a free agent.
I get it, but they're going to find a way.
gonna find a way.
They're going to find a way.
You gotta
You
find a
have
way.
to, because he was so dynamic for them down the stretch.
Gotta find a way.
I do have to say this in the 1:00 games. CJ and I both.
Pick the 49ers.
The Bears. The Bears. The Bears. The Bears. We both picked Bears.
What? I picked the Bears?
Yes.
What the hell?
And then
What was I
CJ.
drinking at the time?
I don't know. CJ and I
Something strong.
went
apparently.
against the Steelers.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I didn't want to,
100%.
but I was thinking Joe Burrow would be the edge. We both
did.
lost.
I
we
would pick
both
him.
we both lost out on that one. And then in the Eagles-Lions game, CJ comes out on top with the Eagles. I was thinking Dan Campbell.
I trust
know
him.
wave
Oh, I
the
know.
arms, wave
Jalen
the
Hurts.
arms.
Hey,
I trust Hurts.
I'm not
I
a
do.
Sirianni fan, but at the same time, Jalen Hurts is a difference maker. So
Well, I agree. Hey, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with the Lions at all. And again, like I mentioned it on the show. Hey,
Our last
it's a trap game. They're really good. They have a great culture, and it's getting built.
yeah.
But I feel like in terms of talent, yeah, we should have won because of talent. And not that
Yeah.
we don't have a good culture, but the freaking Lions.
What jersey
hey,
are you wearing?
I got B-Dawk, baby. Brian Dawkins. Hall of Famer.
Patrick wearing his Dawkins jersey.
Fly
And then
Eagles
in the
fly.
4:00 games, CJ and I both picked the Chiefs. The Chiefs are freaking so dynamic. Patrick Mahomes is a different maker. And then we also have the Raiders riding, but the Raiders are freaking taking a shit to the Chargers. right now.
17-10, they scored
But it
coming out
doesn't-
of the half.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll see the difference. And then in tonight's game, we have the Bucks. We both picked the Bucks against Dallas. So
I
we'll
hope
see.
Dallas
Well, I'm gonna go
plays
grab
tonight.
2 beers. You guys finish up talking about the NFL, and I'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
All right, well, CJ, let me ask you this, and it's a pretty big question. What was the best looking losing team? Because there's a couple. Did Houston tying? I'll give you that. Did the Falcons? The Jags? They lost 2. The Panthers. Like, who of the losing teams at 1:00 did you think were the most impressed, and you can see them getting better and learning from them?
I still think that Cincinnati will learn from that.
You think Cincy?
I think Cincy, like, I trust Joe Burrow. I do. I trust him because, you know, they've seen what success looks like, and they will learn from that and make a better run towards the middle of the season. They will. I know that they will. And then another one I would have to say is that's a tough one, actually.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. There's a lot of
I think the
and Coach,
Rams.
I'll ask you
Like,
the
I
same.
think the Rams. Yeah.
The Rams?
would be the NFC team.
So Coach, I just asked you to do the same question. There's a lot of close games, and there was a lot of ones that kind of came down to the wire, and they kind of jumped off. Who are the losing teams this week?
want to be on the mic?
Who of the losing teams do you think was the most impressive and are going to learn and bounce back? Oof, the most impressive because there's a couple. I mean, like the Falcons kind of jumped off the page.
I think the Falcons are really good with Marcus Mariota. I think if he stays upright and he stays healthy, Marcus Mariota can make every throw there is in the NFL. And then when you throw in his wheels, he's a difference maker. And he's just not been that way. I mean, he just hasn't had that opportunity. But now in Atlanta, I think he offers you an edge that most people wouldn't otherwise give him. The teams that lost, gotta freaking go Cincinnati. Cincinnati's gonna freaking drive back. They'll be okay. I'm as much as a Belichick fan that I am, I'm not entirely sure that they have what's necessary. I think Miami's better than people are giving them credit for. So let's start with them. The other teams, I don't know.
Well, I'm about to say Jacksonville and Washington. That's kind of two squads that don't know who they are.
Right.
And I honestly
you
think,
know-
my God, how do you?
I'll be honest. I look at Jacksonville as like, hey, you competed and you lost in the last minute, and you got to learn how to win, and it comes with time. And
Yep.
and you got to learn how to be
got a brand
successful.
new coach. You got a freaking
Because the Commanders are no walkover.
No.
They're well coached. They have a good defense.
Their defense, they have the best front seven and the best front young
What
seven.
a tackle. Set forward.
I also think Carolina could be in the mix. You know, Baker Mayfield this, Baker Mayfield. Who gives a shit? You know what? Their freaking defense needs to step up.
All right,
Yeah.
let's drink some beer though.
Yeah. Oh well.
easy now.
Shit! It slipped out of my hand.
Sheesh.
All right, let's start with this. We have two Star Hill Brewery ones. So the first one's called Warehouse Pilsner. Star House Brewery. It's 5.5% alcohol by volume. The can and its label, I don't know.
It looks like Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, it's like freaking Mr. Rogers. This is from Virginia, Crozet, Virginia. 5.5. It's called Warehouse Pilsner. We'll see. We're gonna taste this. I'm not sure about the label. I don't know why they chose this label, but it looks very light, very clear. Pass that over.
That's pretty
man.
light for a Pilsner.
Yeah.
It's very, very light.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm saying in the consistency.
Yeah, but got a great Pilsner smell to it. Nothing over the top.
You want a little bit more?
That's not a bad beer.
No, that's a good beer.
There's
Not
not a
bad.
whole lot going on there.
There isn't. It's a very light Pilsner. No aftertaste, zero aftertaste. This is
It's
definitely
a solid beer.
This
is
is
a
definitely
really-
a summer beer. I'm thinking if you're once again we match it up there. What does it look like? What does it smell like? It does it have a bite? Does it have anything that tells you that oh wait a minute, I'm not going to enjoy this that much? There is zero of those attributes to
Factors,
this beer. Yeah.
The one way that I could describe it, it's a little bit more dry. A little dry. It tastes great. I don't think it has a problem. with
Crisp,
the taste.
dry. I think you're right.
It's a little dry. A little dry.
But
but-
there's nothing wrong with that.
But are you going back? Are you going back for more?
Summer beers? Hell yeah, I'm going to hammer one of these. I'm going to hammer a couple of these. Because when you think about it, you put it up against Brothers freaking Duke's Lager.
I still pick Dukes.
Oh, you might do that, but how far off are they? In their
Me
taste?
personally, this has a little bit more.
Yeah,
Dukes has a little bit
It might,
more.
but they're not that far off from each other. They're really not. Like, so if take Dukes out of the way and that was being served at JMU, are you not drinking those? You're drinking those, aren't you? Hell yeah, you are.
I would drink it now. Like I said, if they were together,
You had your choice.
if I had my choice, I'm going Dukes.
Yeah, but blind taste test, I don't think you're going to go wrong with either one of them.
I think Dukes has a little bit more hoppiness to
Chargers
it.
got another tutty.
I think it has a little bit more hoppiness, a little bit more going for it. To me, right now, that's just where I'm kind of at. It's a good beer, though. I mean, I can't go wrong with it.
Damn, San Diego just scored again. It's 23
Los
to
Angeles,
10.
coach.
What did I say?
San Diego.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chargers just scored again.
But it's
like
got
5
great
years ago.
flavor. I'm about to say it's got great flavor. A little bit of sweetness, but then it's dry on the end.
Yeah,
but
but that-
it's a good beer.
Yeah.
It's a really good beer.
Definitely good beer. So we got another Star Hill. And I'm not exactly I'm not with their fucking labels, but the labels don't mean anything to me. I guess. I don't know. This one is Sunburn Summer Ale. So Star Hills Brewery from Crozet, Virginia. It's called Summer Ale, 4.5% alcohol by volume. There is nothing fancy about what this beer looks like on its can. It has a little Volkswagen with a surfboard in the back, like you're going to enjoy some summer drinks. And let's taste this bitch and find out how good it is.
Very similar look.
Definitely a light beer. It's got a little hazy look to it. Definitely hazy. It's not as clear and crisp as the
Ooh. The
Warehouse
nose is a
Pilsner.
little bit more. Nose is a little bit more.
Ooh.
That's really good.
It has a little bit of a like a lemony kind of a.
Rogers is down,
No way.
and he got back.
Damn it.
I get like grapefruit.
Lemony grapefruity.
Yeah.
It's definitely a citrus body to it.
That's really good.
Without being an IPA, that's not a bad beer. That's a great summer beer.
That's not bad for summer.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't
it's almost
have.
like a shandy.
There's no real strong odor to it or anything like that.
I almost get shandy out of this, like a shandy.
Good call. Good call on the shandy.
Just unless they just couldn't call it a shandy, but I get shandy vibes from this.
Yeah, but and there's not. CJ just smashed the shit out of it.
Really good. Both of the beers were good.
CJ's going back for more.
I think so.
I would. It's
I
really
think so.
good.
Yeah, it is.
It's very light. It has that little bit of a sweet taste to it that makes it actually a little.
It has a little bit of a citrus without adding.
there's no
uh,
aftertaste.
yeah, that
You put
I
a
think
bunch
that's
of them
huge.
Back.
We've said that a gazillion times on the show. Without an aftertaste, that's a good beer.
I get Corona with lime.
Oh,
It's Corona time.
But that's better than Corona.
I think
That's
so.
That's really good.
Has a little more flavor than a Corona. Corona has a very, very light taste to it. And then you almost have to add the lime or the
Yeah.
lemon or whatever you'd like in citrus taste. Whereas this beer already has it in it. You don't have to add it to it.
No,
I think they were
that's really good.
two pretty decent beers.
I'd say they're solid. That summer ale is legit.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Warehouse Pilsner and Summer Ale. And I got both of those at Martin's. Yeah. Star Hill Brewery,
2 for
Crozet,
2.
Virginia. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those.
Right now, if I was doing more summer,
Yeah.
like on a beach,
Sunburn?
I'm going Sunburn.
Yeah.
100%. Oh
Definitely.
my god.
I think so.
I'd be a miserable wreck.
Although the warehouse was, for me, the warehouse is that's not like a beer I'm going to cancel out or I'm not going to consider at all. I've been drinking Bud Lights during the show and shit like that, but at the same time, they were great. They were great. They had their own unique taste to them. And where the average person's drinking a Bud Light, Miller Lite, Busch Light, yeah, I know how you're a big Busch Light guy and stuff like that. Those are pretty good beers. So you got to check out Star Hill Brewery, Crozet, Virginia. And I don't think you'll be happy with. I don't think you'll be I don't think you'll be happy. I don't think you'll be.
Watch your wording.
Yeah. I need to check that. I don't think you'll be disappointed with Warehouse Pilsner or the Summer Ale, the Sunburn.
Absolutely.
Either one. CJ just smashed the shit out of his beer, didn't he?
Thanks for coming on again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a
good
while.
To have, It's good to have NFL
Family is
football
home.
back on, man. It really is. Only happens 5 months out of the year. The other 7 months are bullshit. Now we have Sunday football every single weekend until.
All right. So you
first
want to
week
throw
of February.
Patrick? You want to throw Patrick on our list?
What? Oh, for picks?
Yeah. For
It's up to him.
I'll do it. You just got to remind me to do it.
no, I got it up here right now.
For week 2?
No. You want to go week 2?
Let's do week 2. I mean,
You want to do week 2?
just
Okay.
I mean, we can do it quickly.
Yeah, let's get.
All right. So, I have a bracket that we're
Chargers
going to
and Chiefs
continue.
play on Thursday night. Chargers and Chiefs play Thursday night.
Let's see what we got here. All right. So let's go week 2. Let me splash this on here. Week number 2. So let's pick Thursday night. Let's do Thursday night. What do you? Thursday night.
I'm going Chargers, man.
You're going Chargers? CJ's going Chargers?
Let's go with the Chargers, yes.
All right, give me a second. Let me split this last column. And we're good. CJ's going Chargers. I like the Chargers. But I think I'm going to go. You said Chargers and Chiefs?
Yep.
I'm going Chiefs. I think that the Chiefs are so dynamic. Those fucking guys make me so mad how good they are. I don't know. There's something about them. Part of me says that they have to. They have to prove something, and I think for the life of me, I don't know. I keep saying I don't know. I've listened to the show I don't know how many times, but I'm thinking that I'm going Chiefs anyway. I'm going
Okay.
Chiefs. Patrick, where are you going?
Chargers, Chiefs.
In Arrowhead, I gotta go Chiefs. I don't see until they prove me otherwise.
I don't disagree. I think the Chiefs are.
I'm like, but again, it's like a 55-45. You know, I think it depends on how the rest of this game comes out. But I gotta go Chiefs.
Yeah.
All right, Patriots, Steelers.
I gotta go. CJ, you're going Steelers.
Yeah, I'm going to go Steelers, actually, for this one.
I'm going Steelers too. I just watched them, and so Patrick, where are you going? Patriots,
Mac Jones
Steelers.
gets his first taste of a
I think
blitz
against
first
I'm about to say
defense.
I think against a really really good defense, I gotta go Steelers.
All right.
I trust the Steelers defense and Trubisky more than Mac Jones
Could be.
because like Bill Belichick again, like it's hard to bet against him, but he doesn't play.
Yeah. No shit. He doesn't play.
But he doesn't play.
All right. Next game.
Let's go. Your Bears play the Packers.
Yeah.
Sunday night.
Sunday night football. Always a prime time game.
You know what? What are you doing? Because you know what? I'm staying with my fucking Bears. I'm picking the Bears because I love the Bears.
I'll pick the Bears too after the showing that I'm seeing right now with the Packers. They don't
I
have
think-
shit going right now.
I'm gonna go Bears because I think they're tough. I think they're tougher.
You think?
I think they're tougher than the Packers. I think the Packers and Aaron Rodgers are not on the same page, and he's playing Rodgers against everybody else. Rodgers against the Pack. I think the Bears, for as lack of the talent they are, you haven't heard anything about them, and they're freaking more unified than people think they are.
Well, I'd love to think that way, but you know, it is what it is.
Bengals, Cowboys.
Damn.
You think they go down to the Star and they take it to them?
I think Joe comes back. I go Bengals. Joe comes back.
CJ, what are you thinking?
I'm going Bengals as well.
CJ, I'm gonna go Cowboys. And then Patrick says Bengals.
All right. Well, with how the Vikings are looking, your Eagles play them on Monday night.
I'm not going to bet against my Eagles. We got a lot of things to figure out, but we're at home. If we were in Minnesota, I would bet against us, but
So Patrick's going.
I got Philly.
All right.
I'll go Minnesota.
Give me a second. Give me 2. All right. So we got. All right, CG, you going Vikings?
Minnesota. See how their new head coach can handle it.
I'm gonna go. I want to choose. I'm gonna choose the Eagles, and then Patrick's not betting against his Eagles. There's no way he's betting against them. So Patrick's gonna go frickin' Eagles for sure. And that's a Monday night game, right?
Yep. In Philly. That's the number one reason why I'm going Philly. We're at home. First home game of the season at night. Hey, it's going to be legit.
All right. So what's our Thursday night game?
Chiefs, Chargers.
Oh, you're right. Thursday. I'm trying to put these in here.
That's fine.
All right. All right. So wait a minute. I have. So on the Thursday night game, who did you pick, Patrick?
Thursday night, I went Chiefs.
CJ went Chargers.
Yep.
I'm going Chiefs. And then Cowboys, Bengals. Patrick went Bengals, didn't you?
Yep.
All right, there you go. There you go.
All right. See if our picks can hold up for next week, and hopefully the games are really good next weekend as well. Hopefully we don't get another overtime, last second field goal for the Steelers again, because I might lose my fucking mind. But anyway, thank you for coming on again, Pat.
Absolutely.
Coach,
Yeah.
good show today,
Yeah, hell yeah.
but we're going to go enjoy the rest of football.
Yeah.
But until next time, peace out. Love you guys.